Hey everybody, Jake here for American Trucks, and in this video we're taking a look at the Barricade Pre-Runner rear bumper with LED fog lights fitting 2007 to 2018 Silverado and Sierra 1500s. This is going to be a great choice for you Silverado and Sierra owners out there who are looking to add a bit more style and a touch of that classic aesthetic with some additional lighting thrown in. This is a cool looking bumper that's going to give you more ground clearance, more lights, and it also isn't going to break your budget. Now, if you're like me and you grew up in all of the Baja 1000 trucks, this is probably your speed. This is a full width bumper, but it's going to be a lot thinner than your factory one, and it cuts up a lot closer to the body of the truck. So your departure angle is quite a bit better than it is with your stock bumper. It's not going to get hung up on obstacles or rocks if you're out there hitting a more intense trail. Now, the tubular design here really does look a lot like what you find on a truck that's ripping through jumps in the desert. And hey, if that's your plan to do with your truck, all that much better. Now, also included here are a pair of cube style fog lights for some additional light out on the trail, at the campsite, or on the job. You can wire these into your reverse lights. You can just run them on a separate switch because they come pre-wired and ready to go for you. And if you don't want to run those lights, you've got these little block off plates that come included, so you can run it just as you see it here, or you can pop those out and put the lights in. This is also designed to bolt right onto your truck without the need for additional modifications, and it is compatible with your factory parking sensors. So if your truck came so equipped, you can just pop them into the 4 spots along the bumper here and keep the system functioning exactly like it did from the factory. This particular bumper is constructed using a combination of steel plate and steel tubing that has Barricade's 2-stage finish over top of it. First, you have an epoxy pre-coat, which is followed by the textured black powder coat that you see here on the table. So you're going to get a lot of additional protection against corrosion and some good looks to boot. The fog lights are powered by 5-watt Cree LEDs, so they put out a lot of light in a cool 6000 K temperature. These are IP67 waterproof rated as well, and you'll find a finned aluminum housing with polycarbonate lenses over top, so these are also nice and durable. And like I mentioned, the kit comes with all the wiring and the switches that you need included. There's even a relay pre-wired in here, and you've got about as much wire as you could possibly need to get these installed, so you can run it pretty much anywhere you need it to. Pricing comes in at about $800 for this one, which makes it a pretty affordable option, especially considering the fact that it includes these cube lights. So it's a good deal, and again, if you like that Baja-inspired style, this is going to be a good choice for you that's not going to set you back too much. Installation is going to get a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you around 2 hours to complete. Now, doing a bumper is a little bit cumbersome, especially by yourself, so I highly recommend getting a friend to give you a hand with getting this into place. It's just going to make it that much easier to have it bolted on and get things started. However, like I mentioned, the lights come pre-wired, so they're ready to go, making that part pretty easy, and the bumper itself is just going to bolt on without the need to make other modifications to your truck. With all that said, let's head on out to the shop and we'll walk you through the install process step by step.
For this install, you need a 3/8 impact and ratchet, a clip removal tool, a 3/8 extension, a 5 Allen socket, a 21, 18, 17, 15, and 10 millimeter socket, a 7/8, 18, 16, and 10 millimeter wrench, wire connectors, wire strippers, and wire crimpers. All right, today we're going to be installing a rear bumper on our Silverado. First, we're going to watch a quick video how to uninstall a stock one, and then we'll come back here to install a new one.
So before we do anything on this truck, one thing I would highly recommend doing here, drop the spare tire out of the way. This is going to give you a lot more room to work underneath of your Silverado here, and that's definitely a must-do before you touch any hardware on your truck. Now, another thing we're going to have to do before we touch any hardware is we're going to have to crawl underneath and disconnect some of our electronics, so this bumper can come off without pulling on any of the electrics. First thing we're going to disconnect, this is basically a master plug. This is going to go to both of the license plate lights, so it's easier to disconnect here than it is to disconnect at the license plate lights. And what we're going to do is pull down on that red tab there, and then you can push this in, and that should release the two, and you can separate. Next up is going to be the trailer plug. We're just going to pull on this gray tab, similar to the other one, and then we can press in, and that'll disconnect that. Next up here, like I said earlier, we're gonna have to disconnect the bed in order to get our bumper off. And in this shot, you can see it clearly. It's this lip right here is basically going to hit this piece of metal that goes all the way across. And in order to get it past that, we're gonna have to unbolt the bed and basically lift up on this thing, so that is going to clear. And what we're gonna do here, take our 18 millimeter socket and an extension, We're just gonna come up through the frame and loosen up these bolts. We're gonna hit this one and then this one over here as well, then do the same thing on the other side. So with the bed effectively disconnected at the back 2 bolts only, we're gonna come over to the side of our frame rail. This is all the way at the rear. We're gonna trade our extension for a U-joint. These 2 nuts right here are 18 millimeters. We're gonna remove those. Over here is a 15. We're gonna get that out of the way as well. With those nuts removed, you can pull out this bolt plate, then swap over to the 15 for that last bolt. Now we're gonna come over to the other side and do the same thing. Next up, we can focus on this 21 millimeter hardware here. We're gonna loosen that up on both sides, and then we should be able to crank up on the bed and then pull our bumper straight off. Now for this bolt over here, we will need a 21 millimeter wrench to hold the bolt head still, as well as a 21 millimeter socket for the nut. That is a little bit stuck right now, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take the bolt out on this side. You can see our bumper's loose, however, it is pushing on that thread. Pull this back, push up on that bolt, and you should be able to remove that as well. Now, the bumper isn't gonna go anywhere. Again, it's gonna get caught on that lip I showed you earlier. Until we push the bed up, we're gonna have to wait to take this off. So we're gonna hit the other side, lift the bed up, clear that lip, and then remove the bumper. So to lift the bed up, you can see I'm gonna be using a pole jack here. Now, if you don't have one of these, you're in a pinch. The way that I've done this before is you just lay on your back underneath the truck and you can basically leg press the bed up. That'll give you enough clearance you need to get this bumper out, because the way this sits right now is if you pull on this thing, you're just gonna get stuck right there on both sides. So you wanna make sure if your truck is jacked up that it's nice and secure. If you are gonna use a jack like this one, if you're going a leg press route, you should be just fine since the truck is on the ground, but the bed actually isn't that heavy. So what we're gonna do, jack it up here just enough, less than an inch we're probably gonna need to get this bumper off, and then we can pull the thing off.
So before we get our new bumper installed, we just have to do a little bit of assembly. As you see here, we have everything laid out that's gonna go onto our new bumper. So we have our fog lights, bracket for our trailer hitch, our plugs because we don't have any rear sensors, tag lights, and then our tube for our access to our spare tire. So first we're gonna start off with our fog lights. You'll see them in the hardware in front of them. So we'll start over here, get that installed. So we're gonna get our light in here. We're gonna have our wire facing down at the bottom. Just set that in place and get all of our hardware. And we're gonna have our long Allen bolts. We already have a lock washer on them. Just get them through. Then on the back side, we're gonna have our 10 millimeter nut. I'm gonna grab my ratchet 5 millimeter Allen and just get these all started on here. Now that they're all started, we're gonna grab a 10 millimeter wrench and hold the nut from behind and just tighten them all down. All right, and go ahead and do the same thing for the other light. So right here, we're gonna do a couple more things. So you'll see we have holes for our rear parking sensors. We do not have that on this truck. So we're gonna be using our plugs. They simply just go in from behind and slide into place like so. Then we have our bracket for our trailer hitch. It's gonna go into these two nutserts right here. So we have our bolts with our lock washer and flat washer. Get that put over, and then thread those in. Now we can grab our supplied Allen key and tighten those down. All right, now you can go ahead and install the rest of those plugs for your parking sensors if you don't have any. And then we're gonna go to our license plate lights. Now you see license plate lights already have our wires on them, and there'll be a nut and a flat washer on them. Now we're not gonna install our license plate back on, but you would wanna feed these wires through your license plate, through the hole, and then this will secure down over your license plate. Now you're gonna take that nut and flat washer off, feed them through the plate, and then the bumper. And then on the back side, grab your two wires, take your flat washer and your nut, and thread them through. And on the back side, just go ahead and thread them back down on the threads, making sure that you angle it down properly. We'll thread them on, grab your 10mm wrench, and just tighten it down. Just go ahead and do the same thing for the other light. So we're gonna get our wire, feed that through, our flat washer, and then nut. All right, and then we'll get our wrench and tighten that down. Next, we're gonna have our tube for our spare tire access. So it's gonna mount on the back of the bumper like so. We have our hardware, we have our 10mm bolts for the flat washer. That's gonna go through the front side of the bumper. Then on the back, we're gonna have our locking nut. So we're just gonna get this in place and get those nuts just threaded on so they hold everything in place. So we're gonna grab our ratchet with a 10mm socket and a 10mm wrench to hold the back and tighten everything down. Just make sure you get that centered up on there. And then if you need to come back after this, there is adjustment, as you can see. So if you need to adjust it, you can do that. So on our factory bumper, we have to take off a few things to swap over. So we actually have our access for our spare tire here. Now ours is pretty damaged and it's held in with basically tape. So that's just gonna fall out the front like that. Normally there'd just be a couple tabs that you push down. We also have our trailer hitch connector. You'll see these two silver clips on the side. Push them in towards each other. And then that will come out through the front. And then we also have our harness for our tag lights. Now there should be a couple clips holding it on. Grab your clip removal tool and pop that off like so. Ours looks like there's some missing and broken, no big deal. Then we're gonna come over to our lights and just unplug them from itself. There's a tab on either side. You're just gonna lift up and then you can pull off. Now we're just gonna come to our tag light on our side. It's just easier. We're gonna grab our socket, just give that a quarter turn, and just take the whole thing out for right now on both sides. We can use that to wire in our new tag lights. So now we're coming back to our new bumper, and we're just gonna get our wiring harness attached and our trailer hitch connector. Now for our spare tire access, I was wrong, we're not transferring this over, so you do not need this. Now for the wiring for our tag lights, you're gonna need to get your harness, and you could actually just cut this connector off completely. They give you a couple of connectors to connect the wires together. This is one way to do it. I would recommend getting something that is detachable, like a T-tap and a spade connector, because if you ever have to take your license plate off, you will need to cut your wires if you use this connector. It's not that big of a deal, you're not taking your license plate off that often. But we have a couple T-taps on here, and we already have a couple spade connectors on our one terminal over here. We're gonna come over to this other tag light, and I'll show you how to get that done. We're gonna come here, you see I already have one of our T-taps on our wires, on our negative wire. Get our other one on, just simply get the wire in that groove and pinch it down. Then we're gonna get our wires. You see I already have one strip back. Now these wires are pretty thin, so what I like to do is strip a decent amount back, twist it up, fold it over on itself, just to help make it a little bit thicker. It does help stick into the connector a little bit better. We're gonna get our spade connector, get that in there, and get our wire crimpers and crimp them both down. And Once you have those both crimped down, we're gonna go over to our wires. Now our black will be our black on our tag lights. That's nice and simple. So the other wire will be our power. So get that connected. And you can go ahead and do the same thing for the other light. And lastly, for assembly on our bumper, we have our trailer hitch connector. Just come in, snap into place. So right now we're gonna get ready to get our new brackets on. First, I just wanna talk about tightening our bed back down. Now is when you'll wanna go ahead and do that. Grab your extension, impact an 18mm socket, and tighten those 4 bolts down to on either side. Now I did not have to do that because as you can see on either side of the bed here, ours is a little bit damaged. That's just from people taking it in and out and damaging here. Now you could honestly bend that up if you want and get your bumper off that way without unbolting your bed, or if your bed bolts are too rusty and you don't want to touch them. Wouldn't recommend that though, it's just gonna start some rust there, but if you wanna do it that way, you can. But now we need to tighten our bed bolts down and we can get our brackets on. Now our brackets are labeled. You'll see a P for passenger or D for driver. Then go inside our frame here, like so. So let's get that bolted up with our hardware down here. So we're gonna start by getting our back bolt in here. It's gonna be our M10 bolt. We're gonna get that in place and get that through. Now we have a flat washer on the front side on our head, and then we're gonna put another flat washer, and then our locking nut on the back side. Just help hold that in place. Now we have our 2 M14 bolts, again, flat washers on our head, and we'll have another flat washer and our locking nut on the back side. Go through our side bolt like so. And then our bottom bolt will come up through the bottom. Now you may need to come back after tightening this down and adjust. There's a little bit of forward and back, but as long as you get them even, it should be okay. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten our 2 larger bolts down first. I have a 22mm socket for our heads, for our nuts, and then I'm gonna hold our head here with a 7/8 wrench. Head do the same thing, the other big bolt. Then we're gonna switch to a 17mm socket, a 16mm wrench. 17 is gonna go on the back for the nut. Hold the head and tighten it down. And go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. All right, now since we just have access to this connector here, we have our tag light harness. Since it is detachable, we can plug that in now. So just secure that in place. We can just plug our spade connectors back into our G-taps on our lights when we get our bumper on. So now we're gonna get our bumper installed onto our truck. So we have our 4 remaining larger bolts. We have a lock washer and a flat washer, and then we're gonna have another washer and our nut on the back side. And that's gonna go through 2 on each side. So we're just gonna get a buddy to help us get this bumper in position and get our bolts on, and then we'll get them tightened down. So now we're gonna come to the side of our bumper here and tighten our hardware. And we have our ratchet with our 18mm socket and 18mm wrench to hold the head. All right, and go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So now we're gonna plug in our connectors. We have our trailer hitch connector here. Plug that in. So now we're gonna connect our tag light harnesses how we did earlier. Now you can secure yours up. There are supplied zip ties to an existing harness up here out of the way. We're just gonna tuck ours on top of our spare tire for right now, but you do wanna secure it up so it doesn't fall down. And our other one. And then now we just need to run our wiring harness for our new lights and get them plugged in. So now we need to run our harness for our rear fog lights. So we have our battery connect, our relay, and then we have 3 wires. They're gonna run across our firewall. One is our button that will run inside, and the other 2 are our 2 wires that will go to our fog lights and our rear bumper that will run down and all the way to the back bumper. First, we're gonna connect our positive and negative to our battery over here. We're gonna grab our ratchet, 10mm socket, and take our 2 nuts off our terminals. Now we're gonna grab our ratchet 10mm socket and take our 2 nuts off here and connect our terminals. And my hand's pretty much gonna block it all, but you get the point. We'll get our terminals over and thread our nuts back on. And just go ahead and tighten them back down. so now we're just gonna take a couple of our supplied zip ties and just secure our wires up. There's a harness here that's just perfect to zip tie to. I already have our relay mounted over there, but I'm just gonna throw a couple more zip ties on here. You just wanna make sure it stays off of the hot engine and out of the way. Do one there, do one more up here. Just take a pair of diagonal cutters and just cut off the extra for the zip ties. So again, you can throw one more up in the middle here if you want, make sure it stays out of the way. Continue on, we're gonna run our bumper inside our cab and then our other two wires to our lights. Now we have our button. We're gonna go through our firewall. You'll see a wiring harness right here. Just move that plug out of the way a little bit. So now we're gonna get our button through our firewall. We're gonna unplug it first. It's a simple connector. We're gonna get our connector and go through our firewall. You'll see a wiring harness with a big plug going into our firewall right here. Now my hand's pretty much gonna block this all, but you're just gonna push that aside and shove that through, and we'll be able to pull it through on the other side. Now while we're here in our engine bay, we're gonna grab our two connectors for our lights. We're gonna run them along the frame, on the outside of the frame here, underneath our master cylinder. We're just gonna go get them down here and feed them down out of the way. You just wanna make sure it stays away from anything hot, anything moving, and just including the steering column here, so we can pull the extra through when we're underneath. All right, now we already pulled our wire all the way out and connected our buttons back together. Now we secured, you just wanna make sure you secure your wire up out of the way so it's out of the way of the e-brake pedal here. So we're just gonna pull our backing off our double side tape. You can secure this however you want, wherever you want. Just gonna put ours on our dash right there. Push that down, make sure it's secure. As you can see here, I ran our wires over our body mount here. We're gonna follow our factory harness. So you can secure this however you want. But we're just gonna throw a zip tie here, 4 wires tight. Secure that down and cut the extra off. And continue along, and we're gonna run this over our second body mount, running with the harness. All right, so we're gonna come back. I already have one of our zip ties right here around our harness. So we can get that and secure that up. Cut off our extra, and we're gonna continue going over our next body mount, and then we'll work around going around our rear axle. So coming around the rear axle, you just wanna make sure it's out of the way of the suspension. There's a bracket here that you can zip tie to, and then just pull it tight, and then further back, you can go to the frame, and then we can go back and plug our lights in. Now we're gonna come back and connect our lights. We have our shorter one, which will go to our driver's side, plug in here. We have our longer one, which I ran here across our spare tire, and you can plug into the other light. And that wraps up our install of our Barricade Pre-Runner rear bumper with LED fog lights for our 2007 to 2018 Silverado 1500. And remember, for everything Silverado, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.